I'm sitting here with Colin Farrell, Brendan Gleeson, and Martin McDonagh, the director and stars of In Bruges, which was the opening night film for Sundance last night, and it played very well. I was there. So, Martin, where does this story come from?
Yeah, I went on a weekend trip to Bruges about 4 years ago and was wandering around town, and I was struck by how beautiful the place was, and I just wondered why it had never been used on film before. So I wandered around, went to the museums and the churches, and got a load of the culture. But by day two, I was kind of bored out of my mind and kind of dying for a drink and a conversation or anything. And pretty much those two aspects of my brain were what developed into Ray and Ken in the film. One guy loves the place and the culture. One guy just doesn't want to be there. Then I thought, well, there must be a reason why two guys would have to be in a place like this, and that's where the whole idea of them being hitmen who are running away from a hideous job that's just taken place in London, being sent there by their very dangerous boss, who's played by Ray Fiennes, and told to hide out and wait until a call comes through as to what next to do.
Now, you had worked with Brendan on Six Shooter, the Oscar-winning short that you did. So you must have said, hey, I want you in my movie, and you said?
I said yes. I said the notion of being one half of Martin McDonagh's brain was like undeniable. You know?
And Colin, when you got that script, were you eager to do it?
Yeah, absolutely. I really was. Yeah, it was brilliant. I met Martin in New York. I was working on something else, and I tried to convince him not to cast me, really. I had this, what is now I believe to be a warped idea. Go out and find someone new for it, because the piece was so good and was so different and was so original and so strong that I just thought it'd be nice if the audience didn't have a relationship with anyone. But he told me that was hogwash. And yeah, to get the chance to work with it and work with Brendan, who I'd met briefly but had been a huge fan of for years.
It was amazing dialogue for you guys to play with. Extraordinarily fun, but difficult, I would imagine, to deliver in some ways.
Not so much to deliver, but to live. You know, it's always been the experience of, because I've read even, in terms of reading plays and things like that Martin has written, and his work always, you laugh out loud reading his work. But in the playing of it, it always goes beyond that. Getting the truth behind it, the situation may be ridiculous, but actually in the playing of it, it doesn't work out like that. And so delivering the lines, they're so beautifully written, it's not a problem.
Well, I agree, and I think you deliver an extraordinary change in a character. Someone who is in the depths of despair moves into the light, and it's a beautiful thing to watch.
I suppose Ray was shown the way towards hope and the way towards love, as twee as that could sound, he really was. I mean, I don't know how much attention he got or lacked growing up. I mean, I could have certain ideas, but he really, the amount of care that this man, the character Ken that Brendan plays, has, and the amount of understanding, the amount of compassion that he has for him, it's just an unbelievable thing that I don't think Ray has probably experienced that much in his life.
Absolutely, and they're living by a very bizarre code.
I guess they all come from a place of criminality or darkness or violence. You can create a kind of strange, screwed-up character, but if they have a certain defined code, it's quite easy to follow that journey through, I think.
So there's also a long take. We've all heard about Atonement, but this one has a bravura 6-minute take, which isn't obvious.
Yeah, there's a scene in the middle of the film where Brendan gets a phone call from Rafe, his boss. It didn't take us too long to work out the whole the blocking of it and all that stuff. No. And we ran for it probably 7-8 times, I think, maybe. My
last question was, what was Bruges like to work in for that long?
I thought it was great. I'll tell you one thing, it wasn't.
Interesting. No, it was very interesting. I mean, I had a grand time. I found it. The people were great, and we got an enormous welcome. And as you were saying, it's the most amazing set. But the thick masonry, a lot of brick, a lot of heavy brick, medieval architecture, and it's just heavy. And for what I was going through, just working, it was. I found it oppressive, which is not to say it was what I was going through as well, and how I viewed it, how I kind of chose to see it.
Thanks a lot.
You're welcome. Cheers.